Nick D. We call him Mr. Suave. Yeah, he's just like, I'm naturally flirtatious. Like, do I want to marry someone who's naturally flirtatious? I don't know. I think he's a hot guy. I don't think he's ever had a problem finding someone. I feel like with him, I'd have to be this perfect woman. How are you still talking to him? Because he's charming.
Every season, every country, every Love is Blind, you have to get a jerk. You really do have to get a jerk. You have to get that guy who you don't understand why he's there. And in this one, it seems Nick D is it. The fact that he's telling the girls what he feels they want to hear in order to keep him on the show doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't really make sense. I hope nobody chooses him. And Leo, for someone who's bragging about his wealth that much, why didn't he find someone to love him in the real world? If he says he wants someone to love him for what's on the inside, why is he telling everyone about his wealth? Why is he telling the guys about his wealth? Why is he telling the girls about his wealth? So he's just there to brag about his wealth. He says, I'm not here to be an influencer. Fine, you're not here to be an influencer. Why not go to Millionaire Matchmaker? That would have been better for you than for you to come to Love is Blind. Make it make sense. I don't get it. And Hannah, I hope she makes the right choice. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love is Blind, Season 7, Episode 1. One thing Netflix is going to do after being sued is show all the food. I love the fact that they had this clip where they were showing the food in the women's lounge, in the men's lounge, so no one can say they were starved. Another season of Love is Blind has started, and another messy situationship about to occur. I don't know how I feel. Last season, I really wasn't impressed. Especially the way they focused on the single girls instead of focusing on those that were actually in successful relationships. But anyway, off my soapbox. So we start off with Ashley A, I think she is. She's 31. She's a marketing director. She goes on a date with a couple of guys, but eventually we see her with Tyler, who is 31. He's a nuclear security officer. They seem to have a very good conversation, although Tyler was very anxious and very nervous, so he couldn't speak. So you had Ashley sort of doing most of the talking. I hope Ashley doesn't turn out to be an Amber 2.0. I don't think my emotions can deal with that at the moment. Ashley says she's a foodie. Tyler says he likes to hike. They really seemed to get along very well. And the fact that Ashley made Tyler nervous was very good. I think that shows that he's interested. He's very keen. He's struggling to find his words. They might be the what's her name? They might be the lovey-dovey couple of the season. They might be. I hope they are. I think they're a cute match. You then have Ashley go on a date with Nick D, who's 28, and he's a real estate agent. As far as I'm concerned, he reminds me of Baptiste. He reminds me of Shane. He reminds me of Shaq. He reminds me of Andrew. He's just there for the clicks and the likes, and he's going to mess around with the girls because he kept telling the girls what they wanted to hear. As far as I'm concerned, they all said he was a smooth talker. He was telling the girls what he felt they wanted to hear. When he spoke to them, he would gauge what sort of interest they have, and then he would align himself with that. And then when he went to the next girl, he would do the same thing. So for me, I hope nobody accepts his proposal because I think he's just a game player. Initially, I thought he'd be great with Hannah, but then the more he spoke with Hannah, the more I realized he's just there for the followers. I don't think he's serious about marriage. Hannah is 26. She's a medical sales she says she's in medical sales, but she resigned her job because she's really keen to find a life partner. So she has given up her job so that she could come and be on Love is Blind. And it makes me question, the cynic in me says, are you here for love or are you here for clout? Make it make sense. Anyway, you have Leo. He's 30. He's an art dealer. He goes on a date with Hannah. At first, he seemed dismissive. And then because she was talking about, when I travel, I want to see everything. I travel. I think you've seen from my channel. I do love to travel. If I can afford it, I try to ball on a budget. But it seemed she was talking too much and he was about to be put off, but they were able to rein it in and sort of talk about what she likes to do when she travels, talk about art. So I think they would make a better couple instead of her and this Nick D. Nick D is just there to be the next Shaq. Oh my God. Who is doing the casting? Because Brittany is a cross between Micah and I don't even know who else to compare her to. Because she's coming across as a ditzy blonde. I know she's got blonde hair. But she says she's 32 years old. She's an esthetician. And so she cannot cook. She cannot do anything, it seems. She's dated rock stars, and now she's looking for a husband. But she wants to be a trophy wife. And she was speaking to Leo, and it's like, I don't think that's it. I think she might like Leo because he's got money, because he says his family's got money, he owns the business, but I don't think it's Ed. And she was talking about, oh, I can get one of these guys too. So she knows her secret weapon. She knows that she can flirt with these guys and, they will like her. And the voice she's using will attract them, and they will end up giving in and sort of proposing to her. But I don't think this is her show. I really don't think this is her show. I think she's more for, not even Married at First Sight, she's more for Love is Blind, I think, than anything, because I don't think she is serious. I don't think she's serious, because the fact that she's talking and the qualities that she's mentioning, and the fact that she told, the physicist that she can't even spell the word physicist. Yeah, I know it's a bit difficult to spell for most people, but still, I don't think she's there for the right reasons. I think she's there for clout. She looks good looking. There's no way she couldn't find a guy in the real world. I think she's just there to be on TV, and that's it. So she goes on a date with Gareth, and she's busy telling Gareth that, I can't spell the word physicist. I wish they had a dictionary. I've realized that my spelling is bad. But anyway, they have a conversation, and Gareth is saying he is someone who's well-traveled, someone who likes to read, and so someone who can't even spell physicist, I don't think is an ideal partner for him. He is someone who is very adventurous, or someone he reminds me of a cross between Paul and Zach. He seems like he's high intellectual, he's got a very high IQ. He's one of those academics that believe in growing and developing themselves. So I don't think this is the right place for him. Well, not that I don't think it's the right place for him, because he will get highly intelligent ladies. It's just that I don't think Brittany is the woman for him. I think he still needs to continue to go through the pods and see if he finds this person. Hopefully he will, because there seem to be some highly accomplished young ladies in the pods. So let me get this straight. People go on Love is Blind because they want to be judged for what's on the inside and not what's on the outside, not what they look like or what they have. And yet you have Leo go in the pods. He's having a conversation with Brittany. He brings up his family's wealth. The fact that, a lot of his family members passed away and he inherited a lot of money. And so he is this self-made man, because he said they're doing very well, which automatically tells Brittany, who says she wants to be a trophy wife, that she's hit the jackpot here. She's hit the jackpot, because if he's saying his business is doing very well, and he's inherited a lot of money, she knows she doesn't have to work. The fact that they had a conversation about, will you want to be 50-50? And then she goes in to say, I've been very well taken care of in my last relationship. If I wanted to get married just for the money, I would have. And it's like, this conversation is very shallow. Very, very shallow and very superficial. I'm sorry. Very shallow, and I don't know why they think this is it. The fact that, this man, is he that insecure that he has to talk about his family's wealth on TV, for that matter? Because a lot of people are seeing him. It's not just Brittany that he's speaking to. He's speaking to the world. Anyone that watches this show will know about him and his wealth. Why would he say that? All the girls are going to know that after he leaves the show. He didn't need to say that. And for him to ask her, I want to be with someone who, if tomorrow all the art was damaged by water and I had nothing to my name, she would still remain with me. She didn't answer that. She didn't say, yeah, I'll be fine, we can still make it. No, she didn't say anything, which means she's after him for his money. I hope he gets her to sign a prenup, because otherwise, Crime Stoppers is going to be flashing his face there, saying what happened to him. Anyway, I don't know. I really don't know. I think they are both wanting the attention. I think they are both wanting to be on TV. If he's this well-made guy, why didn't he just, get his own girl out there if he was still going to talk about his wealth? Why did he need to come on the show? Because he could afford to pay for his marriage. You should have allowed people, simple people, just to come on the show so that they can get their weddings paid for by Netflix, instead of him coming and bragging about his family's wealth. I didn't like that. And the fact that he has the audacity to talk to someone who he can tell is very superficial and is mainly interested in his finances doesn't make sense to me. I really don't get it, and I'm so confused. You can already start to see the love triangles. You can already start to see the love triangles, because you have Leo go on a date with Hannah. And for me, Hannah is too cute and too serious about this for her to be straddled with, on one side she has, this guy Leo, and on the other side she has Nick D. It doesn't make sense. There are way better guys in the pods for her. Because Leo, surprisingly, he didn't talk. He did sort of say, oh yeah, the only person who hasn't asked me about my job and what I do and what's the most expensive painting I've sold, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, because she's not after your money, she says she's already made her own money. This is why she's resigned her job, so that she could be on the show. So you can never impress her with whatever you've done, because she's already got her own bag. And so for me, it makes me question whether Leo was always told he wasn't the most good looking boy in the bunch, and this is why he leads with his wealth. Because if it wasn't that, then why does he need to continually talk about his wealth? And then her next date is with Nikki D, and I don't get it as well, because Nikki D is very superficial. All he talks about is what he thinks the girl wants to hear. Oh, I'll always praise you. Have you chosen your bikinis to go to on holiday with, and blah blah blah. And it's like, who told you you're going on holiday? Half the time Netflix chooses the ones that they want to go, and the ones they don't, they leave them behind. So what's to stop them from leaving you behind? I hope they don't take them along. I hope Hannah doesn't straddle herself with this guy, because Nick D is just there for the likes and for the drama. He's just there to be an influencer, and that's all I see from him, because nothing he said makes sense. And even the girls were trying to tell Hannah in the women's quarters that this guy is not it, but she can't listen to that, because she's told her what she wants to hear, and she's so impressed by it, so she won't even sort of budge. If I were her, I would ask, why are you saying that? We've just had on Love is Blind UK, where Sam tricked Nicole into accepting a proposal from her, and the same thing is happening here. So you have Gareth and Taylor have another date. When they're talking, obviously he brought her a chess set to show that he was listening to her when she was talking about the fact that she loves to play chess, and that was cute to see. That was really cute to see. So they then have a conversation, and during their conversation it comes up, and Taylor is sort of saying, I don't want you to, well, they were talking about their parents, and she was sort of talking about her mom and dad, and she said, I don't want to tell you my mom's name because it will give away her ethnicity, and I don't want you to know my ethnicity. And so he was sort of now questioning. He said, you're very calculated. And it's like, well, she has to be, because this is Love is Blind. You're not supposed to know how she looks. You're not supposed to know her ethnic group. And I think this is why they always choose people whose sort of accents are very vague, and it's very difficult for you to know the ethnicity of the person you're talking to. And so he said he had feelings for her. What I like is, I think she didn't want him to fetishize her, to have a fetish about, Asian people, and then that's why he chooses her. So I think this is why she didn't want that. But she was saying that, I would rather you like me for who I am, and if you think I'm calculated. She was hurt when he said she sounds calculated, but I don't think he meant it in a malicious way. I think he meant it in a sort of very deceptive way, whereby she doesn't want him to know who she is outside of her voice, or she only wants him to know certain parts of her. So I like that she at one point offered to tell him her ethnicity, and he refused, and he said, no, don't tell me. He owned up that I've only ever dated white people, but at the end of the day, I don't want you to tell me, because I think he doesn't want that to change his view of her, because he really has strong feelings for her. So if she tells him her ethnicity, then that changes that for him. So I like them. I like them as a couple, really. I like two couples thus far. I like Ashley A and Tyler, and I like Gareth and Taylor as well. They are a cute couple. You have, Ashley and Tyler. Oh, Tyler, I really wanted to cry when he spoke about his mom and the fact that she's of Serbian descent. She was disowned by a family because she married outside her race. So he looks mixed race, so I would assume so. She married a black man, so the father disowned her, and her grandmother, well, his grandmother also sort of helped with Tyler and his siblings and helped his mom. But sadly, when he was 10, his grandma passed away, leaving his mom alone, and his mom really struggled with that. And he says at times she used to cry. He says he came from very little means. They used to struggle. They used to at times sleep in the living room just to maintain the heat, and it was very sad. I like though the fact that you had Ashley sound very sort of patient, as though she was really paying attention to what he was saying, and at one point you could see her tearing up. I think they make a cute couple. They remind me of Brett and Tiffany from season 4, so they would be a very good match for one another because they have a lot of things in common that they like to do. They like to go horse riding, cooking, and stuff. So that would make them a very ideal match. It seems the producers are actually listening to the viewers because they're showing us more dialogue outside of the pods. So we had this conversation between the guys in the men's lounge. You had Leo sort of speaking to the guys and sort of saying he's a bit sort of confused when it comes to Hannah because he can't sort of make her out. He can't sort of think what she looks like, and he doesn't know if he met her in the real world, he would be attracted to her. Whereas with Brittany, he would be attracted to her and he would date her. Oh, there's no doubt about it because he sort of knows the type of person she is. I love the fact that Gareth told him that, okay, you say Brittany is the one you would have dated, but Brittany would be very expensive. And then he goes, well, I have money. And it's like, this boy is really flaunting his wealth, isn't he? Isn't he? Why isn't he helping the homeless or the poor? Why, if he's got so much money and he's got nothing to do with it and he's busy bragging about it on TV, is he not doing something nice to sort of help those in need? So you then had, I like the fact that Tyler actually sat down and had a conversation with him and the other guys and said, in the real world, I might not have entertained Ashley A. I might have, if she's beautiful, I might have spoken to her, but I would have been closed off. If she's not stunning, then I would have just walked away. But at the moment, she's given me something that I've never had in any of my relationships, which is she's given me safety. And so I feel very safe around her. I'm able to talk about anything with her. And so this is why I feel very strongly about her. And I feel like I'm developing, a lot of very strong feelings. He's sort of leaning towards love, it seems. And so you have Leo. Leo doesn't really seem fazed by that. He says, I have money. And it's like, are you looking for someone who's going to help you squander your wealth? Or are you looking for someone to build a partnership with? Because at the end of the day, Hannah is highly educated. She seems, she's young for her age, but at least she seems like she's got goals, she's got ambitions, she's at a point in life. She's got wealth like you, so she won't want your money. Whereas with Brittany, wants to be a looked after wife, so she wants to be a trophy wife. She can't cook. She's already said that. I don't know whether she can clean. We haven't heard that. And so is that what you want? You want someone who just wants to be kept? Is that what you're aiming for? Well, he didn't say anything. And then you have, Hannah having a conversation with the girls in the women's lounge, and she's sort of saying she's got her dates that she's dating, but she's concerned that she feels like one of them might not be an ideal match for her, Nick D. And the girls are trying to warn her that Nick D is only telling you what you want to hear because he wants to be here. He's not the ideal match. And her gut is telling her that he's not the ideal match. So I don't know why she continues to insist that, she really wants to try and see where this thing goes. She wants to continue to try and date him. And it's like, this is not it, girl. If your gut is telling you that he's not it, then it's time for you to move on and leave this man alone, because otherwise it's going to lead to tears. If your gut, the moment it says this is not right, you should listen to it and run. Don't even walk, run, because this man is going to leave you in shambles. You have Nick D in the men's lounge sort of trying to suss out who is Hannah's other date, because he's sort of saying, well, she's seeing 3 other people, and he's trying to find out who else is she seeing so that he can sort of, I think, intimidate them into sort of stepping away from her, because he said, she's my number one, and it's like, this is not a competition. Nobody cares she's your number one or number 20. Take a seat. If she's your number one, let her choose and let her see if you are her number one. If you are her number one, amazing. If you're not, sorry buddy, it was good while it lasted and it's time to move on. And I hope, I hope strong minds prevail, because even the girls told her, you need to leave this man alone. I hope she listens to them. So Hannah goes on a date with Nick D. Obviously the girls are worried about her, and they keep encouraging her that you need to end things with this man. He's not here for the right reasons. And it's sad that it seems her 2 options, they're both very shallow, because you have Leo, who's possessed with his bragging about his wealth and flashing his wealth, and then you have Nick D, who's telling her what he thinks she wants to hear because he wants to be on the show. You were telling her, apparently he's told her, what sort of bikinis are you bringing? I can't wait to see you in a bikini. I can't wait to this, that, and the other. So she had to be honest and tell him that, personally, I'm not a supermodel. I'm not a Victoria's Secret model. So you might be disappointed because what you think I look like is not what I actually look like. And he's like, well, I don't care. He was more or less telling her what she wanted to hear. Anytime she said something, he would sort of parrot something along the lines of what she said so that he convinces her. And her gut, I think, was right to tell her that is not it. I think her gut was right to tell her that is not it, because there's no point in forcing a connection just because you feel like, this person is that. And Nick D is not it. This is why all the girls have turned him down, and apparently it seems Hannah was his only option left. So she decides to end things with him, and she had told the girls that she's happy to keep talking to him, but she doesn't feel like she would accept a proposal from him. Then she comes out and she sits in the women's lounge and lets everybody know that she's broken things off. The girls, you can tell they are relieved because they could tell that he was playing her. And so while they're talking, you have Brittany walk in and say, oh, Leo this. And it's like, why? It becomes very competitive sport towards the end, especially when the more the days progress, you find people become very competitive and very territorial about their matches. And it's like, why would she say that? Because now Hannah is stressed because Leo is her number one, and her number one appears to have another number one. And because their bodies look totally different, obviously she's going to be anxious and nervous and worried that what if this man doesn't find me attractive when I, was competing against someone who's more probably his type. I hope this doesn't put her off. I hope this doesn't send her into a spiral whereby she ends up going back to Nick D, because Nick D is not it. I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from last season, so season 6, Love is Blind. Bye guys.